At my brother's engagement, I announced a $10,000 gift for his new car. He mocked me, demanding $20,000 for an invite, so I canceled the payment and served him a 30-day eviction notice in front of 40 people. Seriously, Daniel? My brother Mike burst out laughing, breaking the low hum of party chatter. Make it $20,000 if you want an invite, he joked. The room filled with laughter from our cousins and Sarah's friends, all sharing amused looks. I felt my face heat up, that familiar sting of embarrassment kicking in. But I kept my cool, even though inside it hurt. I just announced a $10,000 gift towards their fancy new car, not exactly pocket change. I worked hard to save that money, hoping to show I cared. But to Mike, my generosity was just another tool to use. Sarah, his fiancée, squeezed his arm, nervously laughing. "Oh, Mike, stop. He's joking," she said, but there was no humor in his eyes. Across the room, my dad lifted his glass, joining in. "That's Danny boy, always trying to buy his way around." His smile was big, but his eyes were icy. Mom pretended she didn't hear a thing, focusing on her wine, classic her. I've been playing the role of fixer for a while now, paying their bills when Dad was out of a job, covering Mom's medical expenses, loaning Mike money for college that he never paid back. Always there to help, but tonight I was done. I kept my voice steady as I said, "You're right, Mike. 10,000 isn't enough." I pulled out my phone, tapped around, and smiled at him, letting him know I canceled the payment. The room fell silent, Mike's grin disappearing fast. His friends were all eyes, whispering among themselves. "You did what?" he stammered, losing his swagger. "I canceled it," I said. Then, I turned to a big screen showing their engagement photos. With a tap on my phone, I displayed his text messages for everyone to see. Messages talking about not even wanting me there, planning to ditch me after getting the money. The room's vibe turned from awkward to shocking. Mike went pale, and Sarah looked like she'd seen a ghost. "Daniel," Mom finally muttered, reaching out like she could fix this mess, but I didn't back down. Not this time. I spoke up so everyone could hear me. "Mike, I'm done being your ATM, done being the fool. Here's your 30-day eviction notice. You and Sarah have until the end of the month to move out of my apartment." Mike's jaw dropped, and he sputtered, "You can't do this." "I can, and I will," I replied, placing the envelope beside their champagne glasses. "Congrats on getting engaged, but you won't use me anymore." And with that, I walked out, leaving behind the stunned silence of 40 people. I wish that had been the end of it, but my family doesn't just fade away. They regroup and come back swinging. The next morning, my phone buzzed with messages before I was even awake. Mom was devastated, saying I'd humiliated them and needed to apologize. As the day went on, my phone turned into a battlefield of calls and texts from Mike, flipping between desperate and nasty, accusing me of ruining everything. Their anger spilled over to social media. My mom posted on Facebook about loyalty, and comments piled in, supportive relatives, heart emojis from aunts and uncles. Only one person asked what really happened, but that comment disappeared fast. Mike's friends jumped in too, with his best friend Josh posting about people who ruin others' happiness. Sarah wasn't quiet either. She posted a tearful photo with a caption about betrayal cutting deep. I saw it all and felt a slow burn, but I kept quiet. That night, I got a call from Sarah's brother, Tom. We hadn't talked in years, but he wanted to hear the real story about Mike and everything that went down. I paused for a sec, but then I figured honesty was the best policy. So, I spilled everything to him, the cash stuff, the texts, and how Mike had totally made fun of me and used me. He even bragged about it when I wasn't around. Tom just sat there quietly for a bit and then whispered, "I knew it. I always did." Sarah's been covering his tracks. I found texts from him to her bridesmaids, too. He's tried to hook up with a couple of them. I plopped down and held my phone tight. "Are you serious?" I asked. "Dead serious," Tom shot back. "And I'm done with Sarah being played like a fool. I'm telling her everything." I didn't try to stop him. Why would I? But I didn't expect things to go haywire so fast. The next day, Sarah's Instagram vanished, her profile pic gone, replaced with just this blank icon. Her Facebook was deactivated. Our family group chat was a mess. "Mom, Daniel, what did you do?" Sarah broke off the engagement. "Dad, you've gone too far. You've ruined your brother's life. Mike, you're a total fraud. I'll make you pay for this." But honestly, I didn't wreck his life. Mike did. And I had the evidence. So, I grabbed my laptop and logged into the cloud account linked to my apartment security cam, the apartment Mike and Sarah were living in. Mike thought he was safe there. It didn't take long to find what I needed, a month-old clip of Mike in the living room, laughing with two friends, holding a bottle of whiskey. "Dude, Daniel is way too trusting," Mike laughed, kinda slurring. "He thinks he's being a good big brother, helping us out. The guy's pathetic." One friend goes, "He won't find out you blew the rent money on that watch, right?" Mike just grins, "Nah, even if he does, he'll just give me some spiel and cover it again. He always does." I downloaded that video, backed it up, and then opened another folder. It had all my receipts, the rent, bills, and small loans to Mike totaling over $40,000. I put it all together, screenshots of texts, bank transfers, the video. This wasn't about getting back at Mike. It was about the truth, about showing the real him to everyone. My phone buzzed with another text from Dad. "You think you're some kind of hero? You think you're better than us?" I looked at it, and for the first time in ages, I actually smiled. I opened Facebook, went to my profile, and started typing. Family isn't just about loyalty. It's about respect, and respect is earned. I attached Mike's video laugh fest, the nasty texts, and my payment list. I hit post and waited. The comments blew up in no time, relatives tagging each other, friends messaging me. Some were shocked, others supportive. Sarah's brother Tom liked the post, then commented, "You did the right thing." They needed to see the truth. But oh man, my family flipped. Mom called, yelling, "How could you do this? How could you shame your own brother?" Dad's texts were barely readable. "Take it down now or I'll make you regret it." And Mike? He kept trying to call. When I didn't pick up, he sent one final text, "You think this is over? You've got no clue how far I'll go." I leaned back, feeling this odd calm. They wanted a fight, they had no idea how ready I was. I was still going through Dad's angry texts when Mom called again. I almost didn't pick up, but something made me want to hear her voice, see if she was still pretending, still covering for them. "Daniel," she said softly, "can we talk? Just us, please," I sighed, disappointment weighing on me. "About what? How I'm a traitor? How I ruined Mike's perfect life?" "No," she whispered, barely audible. "Not like that. I just don't want to fight. There's this yoga class I go to, and there's a little cafe there. Can you meet me after, just to talk?" I hesitated, then felt a strange calm wash over me. Maybe this was it, the last conversation. "Fine, I'll be there." The yoga studio was all glass and serenity, with whispered affirmations floating around. Through the window, I watched Mom flow through her poses, looking so peaceful, like nothing was wrong. But hidden in my pocket was my phone, loaded with the truth, Mike's mocking video, his bragging texts, his plans to cheat on Sarah, and even Dad's threats. When she finally came out, she smiled and wiped her forehead with a towel. "Thanks for coming." We walked to the cafe next door, with its cozy vibe, hanging plants, and soft background music. She ordered a green smoothie, I stuck to black coffee. "I'm glad you're here, Daniel," she said, her voice gentle, almost pleading. "I just want us to understand each other. I want to fix this." If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you. "How do you fix something that's always been broken?" "Please," she whispered. "Don't act like this. Your brother's really struggling. He's in pain. And Dad's mad because I'm not letting him control me anymore," I cut in. "Is that what's going on? You want me to say sorry to clean up his mess?" She looked a bit pale. "It's not about taking sides, Daniel. It's about family." "Family?" I let out a bitter laugh. "The same family that mocked, used, and betrayed me. The ones who tried to turn everyone against me as soon as I stood up for myself." "Daniel, please," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm trying to make peace." But just then, the cafe door swung open, and peace went out the window. Mike strolled in, with that swagger as if he was still in charge, and Dad was right behind. "Dad," his face said with that same old glare that always meant trouble. Mom's eyes widened. "You two weren't supposed to, save it, Mom," Mike sneered, pulling out a chair. "We thought some honesty was needed here." "Yeah," Dad growled, taking the seat next to me. "Let's be clear, Danny. You've embarrassed this family enough." I looked at Mom. Her calm facade was gone, replaced by panic. "What? Quiet now?" Mike smirked. "Come on, Mr. Truth Teller. Got more stories, or did your 15 minutes of fame run out?" I sipped my coffee, feeling the burn but staying cool. "Stories like the one where you bragged about using me or told Sarah's friends she was too stupid to see what you were doing." Mike's smug grin wavered but he didn't back down. "Shut up. You think anyone believes you? I don't care who believes me, I said, my voice low but sharp. I only care about what's true. True. Dad leaned in, his voice a snarl. What's true is you're a selfish little brat who turned on his own family. You think you're better than us? I think I'm done with your games. Games? Mike laughed, leaning back. Dude, you've always been a joke. A desperate little loser trying to buy respect. I smiled. A joke. I pulled out my phone, tapped a few buttons, and the large cafe TV, usually for fitness tutorials, flickered to life. Mike's voice boomed through the speakers. Daniel is always so naive. He thinks helping us means he belongs. It's honestly disappointing. The cafe went silent, all eyes on us. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. On screen, the video continued, Mike with his friends, laughing, drinking in my apartment. And Sarah, she's a clueless fool. She actually thinks I'm serious about her. Dude, I've got 2 of her bridesmaids lined up already. Mike moved forward, face red with anger, but I stayed calm. Don't touch me. Turn that off, he shouted, his voice cracking, but I ignored him. I pulled up the next file, screenshots of his texts mocking me, calling me a walking wallet, laughing about the money I paid for his car, rent, debts. Lies, he screamed. You edited those. I didn't edit this. I switched to an audio recording. My father's voice crackled through the speakers. He's weak. Just press him enough and he'll give in. He always does. Dad's face turned white. You were recording me? I wasn't, but you're too stupid to know how phones work. Mom reached out, tears in her eyes. Daniel, please stop. But I wasn't done. I looked at Mike. You think you're clever? A coward who can't even stand by his own words. I turned to Dad. And you? You only ever cared about control. Well, it's over. Then I looked at Mom. And you? You never stood up for me. Not once. Stop it, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Please stop. But it was too late. The truth was out. Mike's face twisted in rage. You'll regret this. You're so selfish. You only think about yourself. Mike tried to get closer, but the manager stepped between us, raising his voice. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Get off me, Mike roared, but the manager tightened his grip. Dad tried to stand, but his knees shook. This isn't how you treat family, Daniel. No, I said, staring at him. This is exactly how you treat family when family is poison. I grabbed my coat, slipping the phone back into my pocket. I didn't look back. Not at their shock, not at their anger, not at the chaos I left behind. When the door swung shut behind me, I felt the cold air on my face. But for the first time in years, I could breathe. I went home, and the silence felt like a warm hug. No angry voices, no guilt-tripping texts, just the low hum of my fridge and the rain tapping against the window. I set my phone on the counter, knowing what would come next. It didn't take long. My phone lit up, buzzing like crazy. First, Dad, you've ruined this family. Daniel, this is on you. Then, Mom, Daniel, please. He's your brother. Can't you just let it go? Finally, Mike, you always hide behind others. You think this is over? You won't forget this. I leaned back, sipping my now cold coffee, feeling nothing but a strange sense of calm. They were right, this wasn't over. But it would be, soon. So, I snatched up my laptop, opened this folder I always called my war chest, and there it all was, bank transfers, text messages, audio clips, and, the cherry on top, the video of Mike bragging about how I was basically his personal ATM. I knew I had to do something. In no time, I was chilling with Sarah, my old college buddy who's now a kick-ass lawyer. As she flipped through everything, I could see her going from curious to totally shocked to seriously pissed. This is solid, Daniel. We can totally nail them for fraud and unjust enrichment, she said. Good, I replied, keeping it together. I want every penny back. Boom, the lawsuit hit them like a ton of bricks. Mom was the first to ring me up, sounding all frantic. Daniel, you can't do this. Come on, we're family. I was like, no way. Family doesn't rip each other off, and hung up. Then Dad tried his usual shtick, intimidation. You think you're tough now, suing your own family? The judge will laugh at you. I just told him, nah, you're the one who's gonna lose. Mike tried to bargain with me. Okay, I'll pay you back. Just drop the case. I just laughed and said, with what money? The cash you blew on luxury watches or the car you can't afford? The silence was all the answer I needed. In court, Sarah laid everything out. All those payments I made for Mike's rent, His fancy car, the endless loans he never paid back. The video of Mike bragging played, and he squirmed in his seat. Mom was there dabbing her eyes, Dad just stared straight ahead like he was in a trance. Mike's lawyer tried to argue I did all this willingly, but Sarah shot back. Helping out is one thing. Being played, lied to, and financially wiped out is another. This isn't help, it's fraud. The final nail was me playing the audio of Dad saying, "Just push him and he'll cave. He always does." The judge looked serious. "Then, I rule in favor of the plaintiff. Michael Connor, pay back $43,000 to Daniel Connor, plus damages for emotional distress." Mike's face went blank, Dad's knuckles were white from gripping the bench. I stood up, feeling like a weight finally lifted off my chest. I was free. Things went downhill fast for them. Mike tried reaching out, looking to make a deal, promising to pay back in parts. Blocked him. Dad left me an angry voicemail calling me a traitor and all sorts of names. Deleted it without a second thought. Mom even showed up at my door, crying and begging. I just watched her through the peephole and walked away. They tried to turn the family against me, but I just ignored all their messages. Then I heard Mike had to sell his luxury car to pay off some of the debt. Dad tried to dip into his retirement fund to help, but it wasn't enough. They even tried crying financial hardship in court, but my lawyer tore that apart. "Your son funded your lifestyle, and now it's time to pay him back." The first payment hit my account a month later. Cold, automated transfer. But it was a reminder, not of what I lost, but what I got back. I didn't waste the money. Paid off student loans, invested in my future, finally upgraded that old clunker of a car, and got a gym membership. No more desperate calls, no more guilt trip texts. Just peace. One day, I bumped into Sarah, Mike's ex, at a cafe. She smiled and apologized. "You don't owe me an apology," I said. We chatted for a bit, and I found out she'd left Mike and was moving on. "Me too," I told her. But as I left, I felt this ache in my chest. Winning didn't exactly feel like winning. Felt more like I lost a part of myself I'd been trying to protect. Maybe it wasn't just them I was fighting, maybe I was scared of being alone. That night, in my cozy apartment, I opened a new doc on my laptop. I wrote a letter, not to them, but to myself. "Dear Daniel, you are not a wallet. You are not a punching bag. You are not their savior. You are you. And you are finally free." Saved it, closed my laptop, and smiled. The rain tapped gently on the window, but this time, it wasn't a storm.